Elliot woke to the sting of sunlight slicing through cheap motel curtains, his head pounding like a drumline at a halftime show. The bed was empty, the sheets cold, and the faint scent of whiskey and regret clung to the air. He was alone in Las Vegas, a city that promised everything but delivered nothing but a hollow ache where his heart should be. He sat up, squinting at the neon-soaked chaos outside the window. The night before was a blur, a whirlwind of slot machines, pulsing club lights, and a stranger's laughter that felt like a spark in the dark. His phone buzzed on the nightstand, a single notification glowing. Noah Carter followed you back. His breath caught. Noah, his first love. The one he'd left behind in a small Oregon town 6 years ago, when dreams of fame and freedom pulled him away. Why now? Why here? Elliot's fingers hovered over the screen, memories flooding back. Noah, with his sharp jawline and quiet intensity, had been his anchor at 18. They'd spent summers sneaking into abandoned barns, whispering dreams under starlit skies, promising forever until forever felt too small for Elliot's ambitions. He'd left Noah without a goodbye, chasing a music career that never took off. Now, at 28, he was a bartender in Vegas, pouring drinks for dreamers like he used to be. He opened the app, Noah's profile a punch to the gut. A photo of him in a tailored suit, standing outside a community center in Portland, captioned, "Building homes, building hope." Noah had become someone who stayed, who cared, unlike Elliot, who'd spent years running from himself. He typed a message, deleted it, then typed again. "Hey, it's been a while. You in Vegas?" His thumb hesitated, then hit send. The reply came faster than he expected. Just landed. "Meet me at Fremont Park, 6 p.m. No questions, no hesitation. Just Noah, direct as always." Elliot's heart raced. He didn't know what hurt more, the fact that Noah was here or that he'd responded at all. Fremont Park was a pocket of green in Vegas's concrete jungle, a place where tourists and locals mingled under palm trees. Elliot arrived early, his worn leather jacket feeling out of place among the polished evening crowd. He spotted Noah instantly, sitting on a bench, his dark eyes scanning the park. At 30, Noah looked sharper, more grounded, but his gaze still held that quiet fire Elliot remembered. He wore a simple button-down, sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms that suggested he'd spent years working with his hands. "Elliot," Noah said, standing as he approached. His voice was steady, but there was a tremor beneath it, like a fault line waiting to crack. "You look different." "You don't," Elliot lied, his throat tight. Noah looked better, stronger, like the years had carved him into something solid while Elliot felt like he'd been worn down to dust. They sat, the silence heavy. "Why are you here?" Elliot finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Work," Noah said. "I'm with a nonprofit now, setting up shelters. Vegas is next on the list. But you messaged me." "I didn't expect you to answer," Elliot admitted. "Not after how I left." Noah's jaw tightened, but his eyes softened. "I didn't expect to either. But I saw your name," and he trailed off, looking at the sunset painting the sky in hues of fire. Some things don't fade. The air between them crackled, charged with 6 years of unsaid words. Elliot wanted to apologize, to explain, but the words stuck. Instead, he reached out, his fingers brushing Noah's. It was a small gesture, but it felt like jumping off a cliff. Noah didn't pull away. They talked as the park emptied, words spilling like they'd never stopped. Noah spoke of his work, of building homes for those who'd lost everything. Elliot confessed to his failures, the gigs that never came, the night spent chasing highs that left him empty. "I woke up today," Elliot said, voice raw, "and I didn't know who I was anymore." Noah looked at him, his gaze piercing. "Maybe you're still figuring it out. Maybe that's why I'm here." The night deepened, and they walked through Vegas's glowing streets, the city's chaos fading into background noise. At a quiet diner, over coffee and greasy fries, Noah reached across the table, his hand covering Elliot's. "I never stopped caring," he said, his voice low. "Even when I hated you for leaving." Elliot's chest ached. "I don't deserve that." "Maybe not," Noah said, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "But I'm here anyway." They left the diner, the city alive around them. Elliot felt something shift, a spark of hope he hadn't felt in years. But as they reached his motel, Noah's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face clouding. "I have to go," he said, his voice tight. "Work emergency. Meet me tomorrow?" Elliot nodded, watching Noah disappear into the neon haze. Alone again, he felt the weight of the night before. The stranger, the reckless choices. He didn't know if Noah was a second chance or a reminder of what he'd lost. But for the first time in years, he wanted to find out. The next morning, Elliot woke with a purpose he hadn't felt in years. Noah's words echoed in his mind. Some things don't fade. He clung to them like a lifeline, even as doubt gnawed at him. Could he really rebuild something with Noah after all he'd done? He spent the day restless, replaying their conversation. Noah's life was full of meaning, shelters, communities, impact. Elliot's was a string of late nights and bad decisions, like the stranger from 2 nights ago whose name he couldn't recall. Shame twisted in his gut. He wanted to be someone Noah could respect, not the mess he'd become. At noon, he got a text. "Meet me at the shelter site for PM 12:30, Desert Lane." Elliot showered, pulled on his best shirt, and headed out, the Vegas heat pressing against him like a warning. The shelter site was a dusty lot on the city's edge, where Noah stood with a group of volunteers, directing construction with a calm authority. He looked at home here, his presence steadying the chaos of hammering and shouting. "Elliot," Noah called, waving him over. "Glad you made it." His smile was warm, but there was a tension in his eyes, like he was holding something back. Elliot joined the volunteers, hauling materials and following Noah's lead. The work was grueling, but it felt good real, unlike the fleeting highs of Vegas nights. As they worked, Noah shared stories of the people the shelter would help. Families displaced by debt, kids who'd lost everything. Elliot listened, awed by Noah's conviction. "How do you do it?" he asked during a break, wiping sweat from his brow. "Care so much all the time?" Noah shrugged, his gaze distant. "Someone has to. If I don't, who will?" The words hit Elliot hard. He'd spent years running from responsibility, from connection. Noah was the opposite, rooted in purpose. It made Elliot feel small, but it also made him want to try. As the sun dipped low, the volunteers dispersed, leaving Elliot and Noah alone by a half-built wall. "You're good at this," Noah said, his voice soft. "Helping. You could do more, you know?" Elliot laughed, bitter. "I'm a bartender, Noah. I pour drinks, not build futures." "You could," Noah said, stepping closer. "You're not the kid who left anymore. You're here now. That's a start." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world shrank to just them. Elliot's hand found Noah's, their fingers intertwining. The touch was electric, grounding. "I don't know how to be better," Elliot admitted, his voice breaking, "but I want to try. For you." Noah's breath hitched, and he leaned in, their foreheads almost touching. "Don't do it for me," he whispered. Do it for you. Before Elliot could respond, a shout broke the moment. A volunteer ran up, panicked. Noah, we've got a problem. The funding meeting's been moved up. Tonight. They're threatening to pull the grant. Noah's face hardened. I have to go, he said, pulling away. Come with me. Elliot hesitated, then nodded. They drove to a sleek downtown office, where Noah faced a room of suits who saw the shelter as a line item, not lives. Elliot watched, mesmerized, as Noah argued passionately, his voice steady but fierce. The grant was secured, but the tension lingered. As they left, Noah looked drained, his shoulders slumped. You were incredible, Elliot said, awe in his voice. Noah gave a tired smile. It's not enough. There's always another fight. They walked to a nearby bar, not the flashy Vegas kind, but a quiet spot with cracked leather booths. Over beers, Noah opened up about the pressure, donors, deadlines, the weight of lives depending on him. Elliot listened, feeling the gap between their worlds. But when Noah's hand rested on his, the gap didn't seem so wide. I missed you, Elliot said, the words slipping out. Every day. Noah's eyes softened, but there was pain there too. Then why didn't you call? 6 years, Elliot. Not a word. Elliot looked down, shame burning. I was scared. Scared I'd fail you again. Noah reached out, lifting Elliot's chin. You're here now. That's what matters. They left the bar, the city's lights blurring around them. At a quiet street corner, Noah stopped, pulling Elliot close. Their lips met, tentative at first, then hungry, years of longing pouring out. It was a kiss that felt like coming home. But as they parted, Noah's phone buzzed again. Another emergency. Tomorrow, he promised, squeezing Elliot's hand before leaving. Elliot stood alone, the kiss lingering on his lips. He felt alive, but the shadow of his past loomed. Could he be the man Noah deserved? Or would he break them both again? Elliot couldn't sleep, the memory of Noah's kiss burning through him. It was more than desire, it was a promise, a challenge to be better. But doubt clawed at him. He'd woken up alone 2 days ago, chasing a stranger's touch to drown his loneliness. How could he build something real with Noah when he was still running from himself? He spent the morning at the shelter site again, throwing himself into the work. Noah was there, directing volunteers with that quiet strength that made Elliot's chest ache. They stole glances, small smiles that felt like secrets. But Noah was distracted, his phone buzzing constantly with calls about permits and budgets. Elliot saw the strain in his eyes, the weight of a dream that never let him rest. During a break, Elliot pulled Noah aside. You're killing yourself with this, he said, gesturing to the site. When do you get to breathe? Noah laughed, but it was hollow. When the shelter's done. When people have a place to go. Let me help, Elliot said, surprising himself. Not just hauling stuff. Really help. Noah studied him, then nodded. Okay, there's a community meeting tonight. We need support to keep the project moving. Come with me. The meeting was in a cramped community center, filled with locals. Some hopeful, others skeptical. Noah spoke with fire, outlining the shelter's impact. Safety, stability, a chance at new beginnings. Elliot watched, pride swelling, but tension simmered. A man in the back, grizzled and loud, stood up. Why here? Why our neighborhood? We don't need more problems. Noah didn't flinch. This isn't about problems. It's about people. People like your neighbors, your friends, who've hit hard times. The room erupted, voices clashing. Elliot felt out of place, but when Noah's gaze met his, he stood. I've lived in Vegas 5 years, he said, voice shaky but clear. I've seen people lose everything, homes, hope. This shelter's a chance to give that back. Isn't that worth it? The room quieted, his words landing. Noah shot him a grateful look, and for the first time, Elliot felt like he was part of something bigger. After the meeting, they walked through the cooling desert night. You were good in there, Noah said, his hand brushing Elliot's. You surprised me. I surprised myself, Elliot admitted. I want to be more like you. Noah stopped, turning to face him. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be you, just the best version. Elliot's throat tightened. What if I don't know who that is? Then we figure it out together, Noah said, his voice soft but sure. He pulled Elliot into a hug, warm and steady, and for a moment, the world felt right. But the moment shattered when Noah's phone rang again. He answered, his face darkening. A donor's pulling out, he said after hanging up. If we don't find new funding, the shelter's dead. Elliot felt helpless, but an idea sparked. What about a fundraiser? Vegas loves a show. I know people, bartenders, musicians. We could pull something together. Noah's eyes lit up. You'd do that? For you? Yeah, Elliot said, meaning it. They spent the next day planning, Elliot calling in favors from every contact he had. By evening, they'd secured a small venue, a dive bar with a stage, and a lineup of local acts. Noah worked the logistics, his energy relentless. Watching him, Elliot felt a mix of awe and fear. Noah was a force, but could Elliot keep up? The fundraiser was a whirlwind. The bar was packed, music pulsing, drinks flowing. Elliot worked the crowd, charming donations out of strangers. Noah moved through the room, shaking hands, his passion infectious. By midnight, they'd raised half the needed funds. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. In a quiet moment, Noah pulled Elliot outside. The alley was lit by a single street lamp, the city's hum distant. You did this, Noah said, his voice thick with emotion. You made this happen. We did, Elliot corrected, stepping closer. Their lips met again, this time slower, deeper. It was a kiss that promised more than one night, more than a fleeting spark. But as they pulled apart, a figure approached, tall, shadowed, familiar. Elliot's stomach dropped. It was the stranger from 2 nights ago, the one he'd woken up alone after. Elliot, the man said, voice slurred. You ghosted me. Noah's eyes flickered between them, confusion turning to hurt. Who's this? He asked, his voice tight. Elliot opened his mouth, but no words came. The past was catching up, and it was about to tear everything apart. Elliot's heart slammed against his ribs as the stranger, Jake, he remembered now, swayed under the street lamp, eyes glassy. Noah's gaze bore into him, waiting for an explanation Elliot wasn't ready to give. The air felt thick, the city's pulse mocking his panic. He's no one, Elliot said, too quickly. Jake's laugh was sharp, bitter. No one? That's not what you said 2 nights ago. Jake stepped closer, his breath heavy with liquor. You were all over me, then gone by morning. Noah's face was unreadable, but his hands clenched. Elliot, he said, voice low. What's he talking about? Elliot's mind raced. He could lie, brush it off, but the truth was a weight he couldn't carry anymore. It was a mistake, he said, his voice cracking. A drunk night. I didn't even know his name until now. Jake scoffed, stumbling back. Whatever, man. Your loss. He disappeared into the night, leaving Elliot and Noah in a silence that screamed. Noah turned away, staring at the neon-lit street. "You didn't tell me," he said finally. "You let me think," he trailed off, hurt raw in his voice. "I didn't know how," Elliot said, stepping closer. "It was nothing, Noah. A stupid choice because I was lonely. It's not who I am anymore." Noah spun to face him, eyes blazing. "How do I trust that? You left me once. You run from everything. How do I know you won't again?" The words cut deeper than Elliot expected. "I'm trying," he said, voice breaking. "I'm here, aren't I? I'm trying to be better. For you, for me." Noah's shoulders sagged, the fight draining out of him. "I want to believe you," he said softly. "But I can't keep getting hurt." They stood there, the gap between them wider than the Vegas Strip. Finally, Noah sighed. "I need time. The fundraiser's tomorrow. Let's focus on that." Elliot nodded, his chest tight. He'd lost Noah once by running. He wouldn't lose him again by standing still. The next day was a blur of preparation. The fundraiser had grown, word spreading through Vegas's underground scene. Elliot threw himself into it, coordinating bands, securing donations, anything to keep his mind off Noah's distance. Noah was there, professional but guarded, his smiles not reaching his eyes. It hurt, but Elliot pushed through, determined to prove he could stay. The event was electric, lights flashing, music pounding, the crowd alive with hope. Elliot took the stage, his voice steady despite his nerves. "This shelter isn't just a building," he said, eyes finding Noah's in the crowd. "It's a chance for people to start over, to be better. I know what that's like, wanting a second chance." The crowd cheered, donations pouring in. By the end, they'd hit their goal. Noah found Elliot backstage, his expression softer but still guarded. "You meant that," he said. "About second chances." "Every word," Elliot said. "I'm not perfect, Noah. I've messed up a lot. But I'm not running anymore." Noah studied him, then nodded. "Okay, but you need to show me, not just say it." They worked late, cleaning up, the bar quiet except for their footsteps. As they locked up, Noah paused. "Come to the site tomorrow," he said. "We're breaking ground. Be there." Elliot spent the night replaying Noah's words, his hope fragile but growing. The next morning, the shelter site was alive with volunteers, the air buzzing with purpose. Noah stood at the center, shovel in hand, ready to break ground. Elliot joined him, their shoulders brushing as they dug together, the crowd cheering. After, they sat on a nearby hill, watching the sun set over the desert. "I'm scared," Elliot admitted, his voice barely audible. "Scared I'll let you down." Noah took his hand, his grip firm. "I'm scared too, but we've got time to figure it out." Their fingers stayed linked, the desert stretching endless before them. For the first time, Elliot felt like he could build something real, something lasting. The shelter's groundbreaking marked a turning point, not just for the project but for Elliot. He saw it in Noah's eyes, a flicker of trust, fragile but real. They spent the next weeks working side by side, Elliot diving into the shelter's construction, learning skills he never thought he'd need. Each day felt like a step toward redemption, toward the man he wanted to be. Noah was a constant, his presence steady even when words were few. They shared quiet moments, lunches under the desert sun, late-night talks about dreams they'd buried. Elliot opened up about his years in Vegas, the loneliness that drove him to bad choices. Noah listened, never judging, though his silence sometimes felt like a question. One evening, as they finished painting a shelter wall, Noah set down his brush. "You're different," he said, his voice soft. Not the kid who left. Not the guy from that night. Elliot's heart swelled. I'm trying to be someone you can count on. Noah smiled, a real one this time. You're getting there. The shelter neared completion, a symbol of hope in a city that often crushed it. But as the opening approached, Noah grew tense, his phone buzzing with new crises. Budget overruns, staffing issues. Elliot saw the toll it took, the way Noah carried everyone's burdens. He wanted to help to carry some of that weight. He organized a final push, rallying volunteers for a community day to finish the shelter. The event was a celebration: music, food, kids running through the lot. Elliot watched Noah speak to the crowd, his passion lighting up the space. This is for all of us, Noah said. A place to rebuild, to belong. After they walked to Fremont Park, the place where it all began. The bench was empty, the park quiet under the stars. Elliot took Noah's hand, his voice steady. I love you, he said. I never stopped. I know I've got work to do, but I want to do it with you. Noah's eyes glistened, his voice thick. I love you too, always have, but it's not just about love. It's about trust. I know, Elliot said. I'll earn it. Every day. Noah pulled him close, their kiss soft but certain, a promise sealed under the desert sky. The shelter opened the next week, filled with people starting over. Elliot stayed on, volunteering, finding purpose in the work. He and Noah grew closer, building something stronger than they'd had at 18. Months later, Elliot stood in the shelter's common room, watching families settle in. Noah joined him, their shoulders touching. You did this, Noah said, echoing their first night. We did, Elliot corrected, smiling. He'd woken up alone in Vegas, lost in a city that chewed up dreams. But he wasn't alone anymore. Noah was here, and so was he, ready to stay, ready to build, ready to love.